All righty, welcome into another edition of the PA High School Football Report, the off-season version. Of course, we're just waiting for one more snowstorm to thoroughly jack up the beginning of spring sports. It's going to happen. It's absolutely going to happen. Eric Epler alongside PennLive colleague Dan Sostek. And while we are currently basketball writers, Dan, there's never a shortage, of course, of football news and nuggets to mull over. That was pretty good form. So show that again. All right. Yeah, you got to make sure you follow through.
Yeah.
Hey, you awake? Are you awake this morning?
Barely. I was waken up by some maintenance people coming to fix the shower, but I'm awake.
I was going to say, typically, it's yours truly who is sluggish on returning text messages.
Yeah, I was.
If at all.
Yeah.
I admit, if at all. But earlier this morning, it was Dan who did not return any text messages.
The state basketball driving wears me down. It's like, you're making an hour and a half drive. And it's not just the hour and a half drive. It's like every now and then you go to Coatesville and you get stuck behind a horse and buggy for 5 miles. And it's like, that's more tiring to me than staying up till 4 a.m. and waking up at 6 a.m. It's just the sitting in the car, trying not to fall asleep, listening to podcasts and everything. It's we've chosen this life though, Eric. We've chosen
That's right. This is the life we've chosen. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I was in scenic Milton.
Oh, nice.
Last night. I didn't know there was a west branch of the Susquehanna River, but apparently I crossed it to get to Milton. I will say this. I had never been to Milton High School in my entire career. And I will say this. Beautiful football facility right behind the high school. And the nicest people that I've ever met in Pennsylvania. It was very pleasant. 7:00 game. It was Trinity High School coming out with the win against Troy, so they advanced to the quarterfinals in girls 3A. Exciting ending for them. Obviously, scored the last 11 points of the game to win going away. So obviously, it was a good result for the Shamrocks, and they move on to the quarterfinals. So and then now the travel gets serious.
Yeah.
Playing Greensburg Central Catholic. So I would guess best case scenario is yours truly's heading to Altoona on Friday.
Cross your fingers for some Clearfield action, though. Then you get to go to Denny's Beer Barrel.
And you could go to Denny's Beer Barrel, Paul. By the way, did you get the pounder?
No, I got it. I forget the exact burger I got. It was delicious though when I went there. It was.
Yeah.
I think I got a half pounder, which is still a lot.
It's a lot, yeah. Because my buddy and I years ago we tried to split the 1 pounder. And neither one of us finished our.
You don't realize how much a pound of hamburger is till you order it, right?
It's a lot. It's a lot. And the buns are like, real buns.
Yeah.
Well,
you have to think about how much a quarter pounder is from McDonald's. You put stack 4 on those. It's like that's a lot of hamburger.
That's a lot of hamburger. You're right. Yep. But any chance to go back to Denny's is good. Absolutely. But I was worried about you. You didn't get back text messages. I thought you were, part of some illegal underground bare knuckle boxing match or something.
Not yet.
So that's it's something. So all right, let's run down. This is going to be a real newsy sort of podcast today with some top events obviously on the horizon, some player news that we'll talk about, some new items seemingly popping up every day in this offseason. It's been an interesting offseason to say the least. And before we get into it, Dan, I wanted to gauge March Madness. What does it mean for you? It's right around the corner now. Do you play a bracket for entertainment purposes only, of course?
Oh, of course I play a bracket, but meant a lot more when I started out in college when the University of Pittsburgh was actually a viable basketball program. It was like fresh out. We were still, DeJuan Blair's shadow could still be seen at the Peterson Event Center, and now he is already inducted in the Hall of Fame and basically considered like an old head. So, I still love it. I'm in a college basketball fantasy league where you keep your players until they graduate or transfer out of the Power Four. So, I've followed. We do it all in Excel and everything. It's a lot of work, a lot of fun. So I'm a big college basketball guy. So I do love it. But just one of these years again, I would love to see. The last time I picked Panthers were in it, I remember I was actually up in Altoona covering a Cedar Cliff girls basketball playoff game. And I remember I arrived there 7 hours early because I'm like, I'd rather just go to an Applebee's, sit down, order some nachos, and watch 6 hours of March Madness before the game than be driving during the game. So
Yes.
yeah, that's how much I love March Madness because also it's also usually during the state swimming meet. This year it isn't. I remember my first year at PennLive, got a hotel for 4 nights of covering state swimming, and I would just cover state swimming, and then I would just come back to my hotel room. And I would just watch 6 hours of college basketball and pass out. And I was like, this is a great way to spend 6 hours. There's nothing like it.
No, we were way back in my career. I actually covered swimming for a season, and we were at Bucknell, and it was literally Bucknell had their what do they call when the students leave? Spring
Break.
Spring break, yeah.
Yeah.
So the students were on spring break, so no one was on campus.
Mm-hmm.
So literally the only thing going on were the state swimming championships, and myself and a former writer from the Carlisle Sentinel were sort of just palling around for the 4 days that you're up there. And the first night we went into one of the pubs. We were both legal, so it was all right. It was legal to watch because and that was the day Bucknell knocked off Kansas.
Oh wow, Mike
So
Muscala. Was that Mike Muscala?
What's that?
Was that Mike Muscala or is that before? That might have been earlier.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you anybody that was on the squad, but it was the greatest. But the celebration was so benign, it was
because
so
no one's there. Yeah,
because nobody was in the pub. There was
yeah.
like 10 people in the entire pub, but we were going nuts. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Theater, but yeah, I was always a big Syracuse fan. Even when I was very young. Not many young bucks will remember the name Pearl Washington.
Oh, Earl the Pearl. No,
Earl the-
that's Earl the Pearl, right? Or
Yeah.
is he another Earl the Pearl?
Yes, he's another Earl of Pearl. But well before Carlisle's Billy Owens went and joined Jimmy Bayham and the Orangemen. Now, of course, just the Orange. Watching the tournament was so exciting. It still is, but I now believe actually this week, conference tournament week, over the past like 10 days and moving forward, you can always see the mid to low majors tournaments. You get to see all the opportunities. I actually think this is a better time.
Oh yeah, I mean it's. I went down to the ACC tournament a few years ago. It was a blast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean Pitt and Syracuse. It's almost as if they shouldn't be in the ACC and should have just, they went to the ACC for football, but I wish there was a way they could have stayed for basketball and just kept the Big East intact and kept Pitt, Syracuse, UConn, Villanova all together because there's a soullessness to the conference setup right now in hoops.
Yes, yeah.
There's no right, like it just doesn't feel the same as when Pitt would go Syracuse, Georgetown, Villanova, like that was
it. Like even Seton Hall and Providence, these teams, it was just a more physical game. It was just more cutthroat. I think
Well, they didn't like each other more. It's like now it's like how do you expect Pitt to care when they're playing Cal Berkeley? Who cares about that matchup?
Right.
Like no one in the world cares about a Syracuse Stanford game.
And back then too, if you saw somebody actually make a 3-pointer, it was like finding a gold bar in your yard. You know what I mean?
That still is for the Pitt Panthers. So
but nobody, you weren't chucking up 33s a game.
Yeah.
So obviously everything's changed and the gray hairs come and all those things. But anyway, and then when Boeheim left, I just, I stopped.
Well, you know who might be their next coach? I didn't see if they won last night, but
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't look.
Scranton Prep's own Jerry McNamara there's a lot of buzz about him leaving Siena to become Syracuse's coach.
Well,
so.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Boy, could he shoot.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah, Larry, you bring that up. You bring that name up to Larry Koslick, and you can see his eyes like widen a little bit, and he's got some stories about that matchup.
Do you remember Chris Corciani, the guard for NC State?
Yeah,
he used to hoop. The family used to always go down to Bethany Beach, and we were in Rehoboth for a while, and Ocean City, and things like that. But Corciani used to hoop on the playground courts at Bethany, and I remember going on time and just watching, like sitting there and watching the kid for like an hour. Like he was phenomenal.
It makes you realize how good these guys are, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like you need to be that level to not even be an NBA like starter, right?
Right. And he was a small guy. He was small. I mean, just unbelievably talented. But Anyway, all right. So we are a football podcast. So let's
Yeah.
get some football talk here. All right. First up on the agenda here, coming up on Saturday, a few days from now, is the Mr. PA football. I think it's the 16th season now. 2010, I believe, is when they started handing out the title of Mr. PA football to small school, which is classes 1 through 3, and large school 4 through 6. That's happening Saturday for the 16th time. So let's run down the finalists. And I'm going to give let's try to predict the winners.
All right.
I don't know who won. My votes are in. I think the voting is all complete now. It should be, with being 72 hours from handing it out. So this, of course, is sponsored by sports recruiter Wade Marsco, who we both know, McDevitt guy. And it's I like the process because it's a third fan vote, it's a third media vote, it's a third vote between coaches and like a selection committee. So it's always interesting. But let's start with the small school finalists. Dante Carr, which we've written a lot about, Minersville quarterback and safety. He's a Central Florida signee. Luca Neal, which we got a chance to see, tremendous athlete. Played a little bit of everywhere on offense from Avonworth. I think he's still undecided, actually.
Yeah.
Logan Anthony is an interesting case. You do not get linemen pinned in this finals because Mr. PA football staff does give out lineman awards to the top lineman in large school, top lineman in small school. So you don't normally get a lineman as a finalist, but got the necessary votes. Rutgers recruit Logan Anthony from Palmerton. Aiden Bliss, who's been just tremendous for the past 3+ seasons for Port Allegheny, running back, linebacker. He's when we talk small school football, we always talk, man, you're playing running back and linebacker. That means you're a stud.
Yeah.
At these good squads, and Bliss certainly is the definition of that for the squad. So for the Gators. So Matt Sig, which we've had on this podcast, originally a Penn State recruit, flipped to West Virginia, quarterback and athlete. And of course, Marcus Yeager, Trinity all-purpose guy, played defensive end, played a little linebacker.
Our defensive player of the year.
Our defensive player of the year. That's correct. Obviously heading to Richmond. So those are your 6 guys. So I don't know what you want to say about any of them, Dan, or make your pick on who you think might be the winner in this case.
Well, it's always tough to tell if you think the big name's going to get it, because I mean, I feel like Matt Sig is the biggest name of that group, right? He's obviously a 4-star recruit. Sounds like he's already making waves at West Virginia, which I don't think surprises any of us given how athletic that kid is.
Right.
It's a really good group, though. Obviously, we know Marcus really well. Just a kid that really, I think what's always been so impressive with me about him is even this year, after as long of a playoff run they had, he was immediately back in the basketball gym. Like, I think the day after Trinity lost their state playoff, like, I don't even think he took a week off. He was right back, bagging down low, starting for front of the Rocks, who are still in the state playoffs. So I've always been a big fan of his game, both as a basketball player and football player. But the other name that really sticks out to me from that list is Luca Neal. He's just such an impressive player for Avonworth. I saw some Western PA outlets. I think it was Carlo Zavko, Whippeal Insider. He ruffles some feathers on Twitter sometimes, but I think he said that he believed Luca Neal was the most valuable player in the Whippeal, and people were getting really mad at him about that. And I think his argument was that, I'm not saying they're the best player or whatever, but I think his argument was, if you take that kid off the team, where is that team? And I think that's a fair point. That kid did so much for that he was just such a dynamo of a football player. Anyone who watched him, you watch it, and you're just like, wow, this kid is special. So, I mean, for me, those are the 2 names that really stick out as potential winners: Matt Siger, Luca Neal.
Yeah, I agree with you on both counts. Luca Neal is a guy who played probably 4 or 5 different positions, done it really, really well. And I agree, if without him at Avonworth, they're not showing up at Cumberland Valley. They're not showing up the last couple of seasons. So I think he may be the spoiler to Sig, but I agree with you on Sig. I mean, Sig's been really, really good. It was almost I was almost upset that I wasn't going to get a second chance to kind of see him,
Mhm.
play just
Because
because
he's an impressive kid too, right?
he
Like
is.
he's such a
Yeah,
mature kid.
yeah, yep. And obviously, congrats to all these guys for being a finalist. All of them are worthy. Um, again, Logan Anthony was up for lineman of the year. And I believe he may have actually the linemen have already been selected. If no one, if we haven't announced it yet, but Kevin Brown from Harrisburg was the big school lineman of the year. I don't know if Palmer, or I don't know if Logan was the small school. I should have probably looked that up to see if he had already been named, but we'll get that information before we end here. So, all right, let's move on to large school. Obviously, it's a really impressive group of guys. We'll start with the lone. I think he's the lone. No, two juniors um, on this list of 6 finalists. Charlie Falk, who most know now is the 6A Player of the Year as a sophomore, the junior quarterback for St. Joseph's Prep. He's going to wind up where he wants to go. A lot of offers for Falk, who just made an unbelievable impression when he got the starting job for the Hawks as a sophomore. His stock just keeps rising. Elias Koch, which everyone on this listening to this podcast knows, wide receiver and safety for Harrisburg. He is now enrolled and doing good things at Rutgers. Joey O'Brien, Player of the Year in 6A from the Coaches Association. Wide receiver and safety at LaSalle College. Obviously, anyone who saw the 6A final knows exactly what that guy can do. He's currently at Notre Dame. Deontay Sheffy, running back for State College, which is not a surprise that he's a finalist. Had a tremendous senior season. Many people forget because Sheffy, transferred to Harrisburg and then transferred back to State College for his senior year. Sheffy was a freshman All-American. Was a Max Preps freshman All-American at State College. I think he was somewhere around 1,400 or 1,500 yards that he rushed for as a freshman. And then kind of got to Harrisburg, and Harrisburg was really ripe at the positions that he played, and he sort of took a downturn, I guess, as far as numbers are concerned, stats are concerned. But went right back up to being a 1,600-yard rusher as soon as he got back to State College. So he's going to walk on at Penn State, which is great for him. The other junior in the class of finalists is Kamon Spell, who everybody in PA knows, top junior prospect out of McKeesport, running back. Again, is Spell committed, Dan?
No, I think he decommitted and is still going over everything. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if I heard that. I did hear Georgia at some point. I did hear.
I think he's considering Penn State again now too.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And I'm sure JF will want to get his hooks in him at Tech too, but if he can, because he certainly wanted him before everything fans.
There's
So
been a crystal ball to for Spell back to Penn State. So
back to Penn State. Okay.
So who knows? But it's nothing official.
Okay. But he's got offers, out the wazoo, so he'll have the pick of the litter. The last finalist is Sean Steckert from Southern Lehigh, running back and linebacker. He is signed with East Stroudsburg. Steckert is just a football player through and through. I mean, that's the best way to describe him. And what he did for Southern Lehigh and getting him there to Cumberland Valley was just so impressive. Just such an impressive, tough athlete. Not surprised that he's a finalist in this one, but I believe he is the only 4A. Yeah, he's the only guy in 4A.
Yeah,
that was a finalist. Everyone else is 6 or 5. So, so what do you think about this group, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the group, it's hard to look past Joey O'Brien, right?
Yes,
I mean,
it is.
It's just he's obviously the guy. I believe he won. Did he win Gatorade Player of the Year? Or was it Sidwar? I forget. It was
Sidwar was Player of the Year for the football writers,
Mhm.
and Joey O'Brien was the Player of the Year for the coaches select team.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it feels like if you're telling the story of this past season, it's hard to look past LaSalle, right? They were
it is.
kind of the dominant team. So I mean, and watching him is just you could just tell he's already sounds like he's making noise at Notre Dame, which surprises absolutely no one. I mean,
Right.
would you? I would be more surprised if he doesn't play as a freshman than if he was an immediate contributor, right? Like
Yes.
he's gonna be a guy you probably watch on Sundays. But all these kids had tremendous careers. I mean, we talk about Elias Koch a lot on this podcast, and um, I think beyond his wide receiver skills, which are good enough to get him to a Big Ten program where he's already there and doing work, is I just thought that what Harrisburg is really going to miss from him this year, beyond all the big catches and receiving yards, I think he was such a leader for that group. That he was kind of, it's not like he's this like loud rah-rah guy in terms of like he's not the one in the middle. That's usually Kevin Brown who's screaming in the huddle, right?
Right.
And in the circle before the game. But I thought Elias was kind of always first off, he's a really smart football player. I think that really goes underrated when you're a wide receiver. You don't get that credit all the time. But
Right.
I think he was just a guy that did everything the right way, and a lot of since he was a freshman, really, and a lot of kids followed him. It was a big reason Harrisburg's been so successful the last 4 years. So obviously he's had a great career, and all these kids are deserving recipients. Charlie Falk's been terrific for St. Joe's Prep. I'm guessing that he gets to nod over Sid War because you don't want Sid War and O'Brien splitting votes, right? Like
Right.
because and then you did a good job explaining Sheffy, and Spell doesn't need much explanation. And I mean, it was either Steckert or O'Brien for the best performance of the weekend at Cumberland Valley. So yeah, it's a great group of kids.
Yeah, I mean, I think if O'Brien was not in this equation, then I think Stecker had a legitimate chance to win this award.
Yeah,
As a 4A guy, I really do, and that's not to dismiss what Folk and and Sheffy and Elias have done. Came on being a junior. Obviously, he's got another big season coming up. But O'Brien is just he's the most college ready guy right now, and he's just been so impressive. I don't know if you could look at O'Brien and said, "Oh, okay, he needs drastic improvement in this or that." And to me, as an 18-year-old kid, when you find those guys, it's really, really impressive to see that. And obviously he's been just quite a stud since he stepped on the field, as a freshman. Stecker, we mentioned, just an absolute football player, and just to elaborate on Koch too. What I liked most about Koch is, they always say, well, wide receivers, they all want the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's not always the case. Like Elias is a guy that you mentioned, not a big rah-rah scream and yell guy, I don't think. But damn well he wants the ball every damn snap, every time. And that
he would also block like crazy too in the run game. He was a really good blocker as a wide receiver too.
Yeah, and I just I think he's a guy too, and I don't know what's ahead of him at Rutgers, but I think he's a guy too that could play immediately. I think we could see him on the field quite a bit in the fall. I really do. He's that impressive, and obviously he's got the measurables. Good size, great hands, good speed, good route running, and if I'm a coach, I want guys like that on the field.
And we know that he played through some stuff last year too. I think that a lot of these kids probably did, but I know for a fact Elias was banged up and never said anything about it either. So I think that's another thing that'll benefit him at the next level too.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Dan, let's turn our attention to a couple of posts we had recently about some player movement inside the mid-pen, maybe one or two to outside the mid-pen.
The portal segment.
Yeah. I don't think it's not anything new, but what's interesting is the frequency of these moves is cranking up.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't quite reached NCAA transfer portal territory, of course, but it seems to me the lean has begun. No?
Yeah, it's. I mean, we're looking at it, just like it's a lot, and when we say that, there is no judgment at all from at least on my end of like listen, I'm never going to tell a parent or a kid what they're supposed to do to bet what they think
Right,
is the
right.
best way to prepare for their future. It's entirely up to them. But the amount it's happening is absolutely, it's just it's uh it's a new world we're in. I mean, I think it's fair to say, right? It's like
Yeah,
because there's so much more at stake with a recruitment than just what jersey color you're going to wear and what the scholarship value is, because you're now playing for NIL money, and
right.
that is life-changing money. And so people are I think that that's playing a role in it, but also, just general, like, there's just general movement stuff, general life stuff as well. There's just so many different things, different aspects of these decisions. And I mean, it's the first thing everyone's talking about with high school football right now. Like, if you go to any of the message boards, everyone's just talking about the transfers. So
Right.
it's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, we're not judging. We're reporting. We're
Yep.
reporting on what these movements are. And again, their reasons are their reasons. I don't, we don't dismiss any of it. And again, I wouldn't, if I lived in a certain school district and I wanted my kid to play, 30 miles away, and they accepted that, you can do it. You
Yeah.
can do it. You just pay you pay your school taxes and where your home is, and you pay the tuition over there, and you make sure you got a way for your son or daughter to get to school,
Yeah.
because the bus isn't coming 30 miles to pick you up. So, that, I mean, you can do that. Now, there are certain school districts that don't accept that, don't accept, student athletes from outside their district. And there's ones that do. And of course, you have the whole public to private and vice versa. That's a situation as well. But you had written an article about Zayden Smith, Cumberland Valley, moving over to Bishop McDevitt. That's a big move. It's one of the top players in the mid Penn, moving on. And who are some other guys we recently wrote about?
Yeah, I mean, so that's the thing. It's like Bishop McDevitt adds someone in Zayden Smith, who's, we've seen his ability against the best teams in the state, right?
Mm-hmm.
3 interceptions against Harrisburg says
Yep.
an awful lot. So, but yeah, the Bishop McDevitt does lose a guy that I think we all expected was going to be a huge part of their offense this year, in Jerome LaRue Jr., right?
Yes.
Who had patiently kind of waited behind Nazir Jones Davis and Maurice Barnes. Um, had an offer from Virginia Tech before he even played a down of football. He has offers from the defending national champions, Indiana. He's got an offer from Baylor. So I mean, clearly a coveted recruit. He's a smaller running back, but super fast, super quick. He's heading to Central York to play with Gary Yonchik and those Panthers. So that's going to be a fascinating thing to watch, because I mean, just all this movement. I think you confirmed too. Rick Brown is now at Susquehanna Township.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a ton of movement right now, and I think for me, my biggest takeaway, especially with McDevitt moving to 6A, is that District 3 6A field right now is wide open. I think. I
Yeah.
mean, McDevitt's going to be right there competing for the title, and I would put them probably as the favorite. But I mean, hard to write off Central York adding a guy like LaRue, and how good they've been for years. And Manheim Township's going to be right back in the mix again, probably, because when are they not in the mix? And
Yep.
Harrisburg suffered some losses. They obviously lose Michael Shank Jr. to Coatesville. That's another big one. But another team, I'm never going to write off Harrisburg ever with Cal Everett head coach. Like, that would be that would be a fool's errand to write off Harrisburg just because they lost a couple kids. So 6A is going to be fascinating because of all these transfers, I feel like.
Yeah, it'll be interesting too, because Harrisburg has won the district 4 or 5 straight years now.
5 years, every year since I've been here. So
Yeah, so it's been interesting, and a little bit further away from home. Justice Hardy out of Wyomissing has moved
that's a
on
big one.
moved on to Wilson.
So another 6A team adding some firepower too.
Exactly. So yeah, there's a lot of movement going on, and I think the one certainty that we feel is like this is not going to be the last of it.
No.
It's like I said, the sprint of these transfers now. It's continuing. It's getting faster. More and more guys are changing locations for whatever reason. Again, it's I'm certain that most will face a hearing about postseason, whether or not they can play postseason. And of course, you mentioned there are hardships too. I mean, there are situations, life situations. You know, mom or dad move jobs, move locations, whatever. But it'll be interesting to see how these new players fit in. And all of them are, solid football players. I mean, terrific football players. So how they fit into the new spots. We'll find that out soon enough. Soon enough. All right, Dan. To cap off the pod, we wanted to celebrate a few players. Not only dug in with winter sports, but obviously doing really good things. Really good football guys playing other sports, which is great to see. Really, for a long time, like Cedar Cliff baseball had a bunch of football guys.
Oh yeah,
playing. And obviously we know how successful they were been as the defending 6A champs in baseball. So they're going to be good again too. So some of these guys, so just tell the viewer or tell the listeners some of these guys who are still, who obviously did some really good things in basketball. Some are still doing it, headed to quarterfinal games or second round games tonight. Who are some of the guys?
Yeah, I mean, well, before we go to basketball, you don't usually get to say this, but we've got a swimming standout, and I mean, and usually, like, I think if you had heard, oh, there's a football player that's swimming, you'd be like, oh, he's probably just on the football team, kind of riding the bench, getting ready for the swim season. That's not the case. One of Bishop McDevitt's star linebacker, you could argue among the most important players for McDevitt this year, R.J. Duffy, who I believe he's going to school for football. I could be wrong. But he is on the verge of winning a state medal, potentially gold in swimming. So I mean, I don't know. You've been covering football a lot longer than me. I'm sure you can. I don't even know if you can count on a single hand the amount of football players who are state, because I don't think people grasp how hard it is to become a state medalist in swimming. Like as a multi-sport athlete, these kids are year round in the gym in the pool at 5 a.m. every morning. Preparing for this. For RJ Duffy to go through an entire football season, a grueling football season where he's playing every snap on defense, leading the Bishop McDevitt in tackles, playing all the way to the state championships, and then going around and potentially winning a state medal. It really is like unreal.
Yes.
And so I don't know if we've even made a big enough deal about it. It's like it is a truly impressive feat, especially because those sports. It's not like wrestling and football where it's like, oh, you're playing football. That's preparing you kind of for wrestling with leverage and everything. Like, I'm not a sports scientist. I don't understand the biomechanics that well, but I can't see how playing linebacker translates to swimming at all. So
I don't either.
So it is so impressive.
As somebody who clearly just sinks to the bottom of the pool, you know what I mean? I don't know how you could be a stud football player and just swim that fast.
No,
I don't understand it.
No, it's so the absolute shout out to RJ Duffy. I mean, he's like, I don't think we'll be seeing this for a long time, seeing a football player of that caliber being that good of a swimmer as well. So
if we could get the PIAA to sanction simply just linemen a diving
a cannonball contest.
No. Just you have to actually dive, but just the whole division is just for football players.
Oh, that'd be so good.
1 meter, just put them on the springboard. Tell me that would you draw a brick.
You get a bunch of them to sign up too. They'd be excited for that.
Absolutely.
I think they'd be excited for that. Maybe this is our next initiative at the PIAA meeting. They'll kick us out, but they'll be the end of our relationship with them. But
right, it's nice knowing you, but they'll get to dive.
Yeah, exactly. So shout out to RJ Duffy. That's awesome. He's in Bucknell right now, and I'm sure all the Crusader fans are hoping he'll win some gold. Speaking of the Crusaders, they are still in the basketball tournament. I was actually at their game last night where they you hate using the term upset, right? Because it's like no one's seeded or whatever. So, but I think a lot of people consider Bishop McDevitt beating Archbishop Carroll an upset last night. Carroll's obviously a power in the 4A bracket.
Yeah.
McDevitt had its first state quarterfinal since 2019. There are a couple of football players on the team. Akeelan Smith, key contributor at safety for the Crusaders, is he comes off the bench for the group. And Jonte Quick, stud wide receiver. He's also on the roster. He's not in the rotation per se, but he's at every game. He's a big kind of energy guy for the group as well. So those two guys on McDevitt. On Chambersburg, you have Seth Gilliam, who's I believe a tight end linebacker for the Trojans. Had a bit. He was crucial in the Trojans' huge upset over Coatesville on Saturday. Had a
Yep.
lot of possessions defending. 5-star, 6'7" Colton Hiller, brother of another 5-star Max Hiller. Did a great job leading Chambersburg to that one. I'm not bashful calling an upset. That was an upset of the Trojans beating Coatesville. So shout out to him. And then Marcus Yeager, we mentioned him before on Trinity. Just a key component to that group. Marcus Yeager and Robert Lewis. They've got the Shamrocks playing tonight for another. I believe they've been in the state quarterfinals the past 3 years. So that would be a big win for them as well. So had a couple careers end. I think most notably, probably, one of the more we've talked about him a lot as a football player, and I think he's underrated as a football player because of how good he is as a basketball player. But Cam Sweeney's career came to an end last week. Just as such a fun player to watch in both sports. I've seen him more in basketball. You've probably seen him just as much in football.
Yep.
In basketball, I talked to Paul Blackburn about it. He said he still remembered Cam coming to their camps when Cam was 5 years old. He said Paul said he had pictures of him as a little 5-year-old practicing, and he said now he's now Hershey's all-time program leader in scoring, which says a heck of a lot for that program.
Yep.
But he was just as good of a football player too, right? I mean, first team for us as an athlete. I think he's, you don't get a ton of quarterbacks also playing defensive back in the 5A, 6A bracket.
Right.
Just a lot of football players also made contributions as hoopers. And I never think they get the credit they deserve because of how short that turnaround is. It's such an abridged turnaround. And these kids they don't get a break. And especially with a guy like Sweeney that's playing pretty much every snap of every football game, then goes and is immediately the number one focal point of all these opposing defenses in basketball. And probably the message to every team is be super physical with him. After playing a full year of AAU summer, it's like these kids really just give their bodies I guess that's what you're supposed to do at 18, right? Your body can respond to it. But man, these kids really do all battle for a full calendar year. So it's always impressive to see.
Yeah, no doubt. Congrats to those guys, and good luck. Obviously, the guys still going at Trinity and Bishop McDevitt and Chambersburg, and hopefully they keep the pedal down here with a couple more rounds to go in the PIAA basketball tournament. All right, Dan, that'll do it for this edition of PA High School Football Report. Appreciate your time. Good luck to all the guys moving forward. We got a couple more, maybe like 2 more weeks before we turn to the spring sports season. Everybody cross your fingers, no more snow. It was actually, yesterday was what?
Beautiful yesterday.
Almost 80 degrees yesterday. Had the windows down on my way to Milton. Next trip out, probably to Altoona. And you're heading where tonight?
Hamburg.
Hamburg. Oh, that's an easy. Stop by Cabela's. Look at the fish.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
I like fish.
Yeah, fish are good, especially Cabela's. They're big. Lethargic, though. Lethargic fish. Not very active in that big tank.
I don't know. There might pass. I need the excited fish.
All right. Hey, we appreciate everyone joining us. Obviously, come back next week, and that's PA High School Football Report.